Alright, so we've got Tighnari and Zhongli right now in the current banner, and we know we're getting Ganyu, then Kokomi in the next banner. A lot of these characters are good, some of them are new, some of them are like technically the best in the game, so I know a lot of people are confused about which one should they wish for and which one is the best for their accounts and stuff like that. In this video I'm going to be giving you pros and cons about each character, and then I'm going to give you my opinion about which ones should you go for. But obviously if you really like any of those, then you probably shouldn't care about meta at all. Just go for them, wish for them, get them, have fun, and that's it. But yeah, without further ado, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let's begin. Alright, so starting off with Tighnari, the new character. He's right now the first Dendro 5-star. So starting off with his pros or like reasons you might want to consider wishing for Tighnari. The first one is he will never get a rerun. After that, Tighnari is going to be added to the standard banner. That means he will probably never get a rerun or like his own banner. So this is like a good and a bad you can say, but for that reason, if you really want Tighnari, you might consider wishing for him right now, because in the future you don't have a guaranteed chance to get him at all. You might be losing 50-50s and then never get Tighnari. That's, that can happen. I've been playing since 1.0 and I still don't have Diluc. I'm not really a whale, but if you're playing like since day one, you would expect to have every single character on the like standard banner. I don't. I have constellations on many of them, but I don't have Diluc. So yeah, that can happen with Tighnari. So if you really want him and you know you want him on your accounts, then you might want to wish for him right now. Second pro about Tighnari is that he's a very good Dendro applicator and he does decent damage. His damage is not bad at all. It's definitely not the best in the game, but it's up there. He's very viable in a lot of teams. You can clear the abyss with him and stuff like that. So yeah, he's gonna be very good. Dendro as a whole is looking very good right now, and Tighnari is one of the best Dendro applicators we have in this time. So if you want to build like Dendro teams and stuff like that, you have Tighnari. He's probably the best. Now moving on to his cons or like reasons why you might not wish for Tighnari. First of all is that he's also going to be on the standard banner. This is a pro and also a con at the same time. If you want to take your chances, he will always be there. He will never disappear, so you can always have the chance to get him. Even though it's a small chance and you might never get him, but he's still going to be there. So if you want to think about it like that and you're not really that interested in Tighnari and you don't mind getting him like, later down the line, in that case you can skip him and just wait to get him like from losing to 50-50. So yeah, if that's the way you'd want to look at it, you can. The second con about Tighnari is that he will probably get power crept. Looking at the characters on the standard banner right now, pretty much all of them got like power crept by another character who's the same element and just better than them. I'm not saying they're bad by any means, but most of them are not really the best like option in their element. For example, Hu Tao is better than Diluc, Kazu has technically a replacement and is better than Jean, even though he can't heal, but generally he's a better support. Like Raiden, for example, is probably better than Keqing. You get the idea. Pretty much every single character on the standard will probably get outclassed by another character in the future. Tighnari is going to be the first Dendro and is going to be added to the standard banner. So from what we have right now, we can see he will probably get power crept. Down the line in the future, there will probably be another Dendro who can do like, pretty much everything Tighnari does, and he will be like better. It might never happen, but judging from what we have right now, it will probably happen. So this is a con about getting Tighnari. Third and last con about Tighnari is that there are free Dendros right now. So if your goal is to build like, some Dendro teams with Electros and stuff like that, then you have the free Dendro MC, maybe even Kale. These are going to do the job. So you don't have to get Tighnari for like the Dendro application, even though his is better, but there are still viable options who can do like pretty much almost the same thing. They're not going to be dealing as much damage as him, but they're going to be enough for like the Dendro reactions. So if you just want to build the Dendro teams, then you have other options. Now moving on to Zhongli. So again, we're going to do his pros and cons. I'm pretty sure I did a video where I compared Zhongli to someone else before. So I did talk about his pros and cons. Nothing really changed much, but we're going to talk about them again for this video. So first of all, he's a top tier support and is going to make your game very easy. Zhongli is basically a game changer, actually. He's going to change like the game from hard mode to easy mode, especially if you're playing on mobile or you don't have like that much skill or you simply don't care too much. You just want to slap in Zhongli's shield and then you don't have to dodge. Or at least you don't have to dodge as much. So yeah, if you're dying before and stuff like that and you're struggling with characters, if you're gonna have Zhongli, you're probably never gonna die again. So he's definitely making your game easier. A second pro about Zhongli is that he's very flexible. You can use him on a lot of teams, pretty much any team honestly. If he doesn't do that good, he's not gonna do bad. He's Geo, so he's not gonna interfere with like any reactions or anything like that. He's always gonna decrease the resistance and you're gonna benefit from him. Also, he's gonna give you some extra damage, so he can pretty much work on any team. And the last pro about Zhongli is that he's free to play friendly. You don't really need any 5-star weapons or anything like that. Even a low investment Zhongli can do very good. Even if you don't even want to like build crit on him or anything like that, you just want to stack HP and he's gonna be a very viable option for your team. He's gonna be protecting you and giving you the resistance shred, which is very good. Now for Zhongli's cons, to be honest, I don't really think he has any, but to think about one, I would say he doesn't really offer much to a lot of teams. Well, besides his shield, he's not like a top tier support for every team. He's very flexible, yes, but for most teams, he's just gonna be giving you a shield and some resistance shred and that's it. He's not gonna be like a necessary support. Especially if your skills getting higher with the game and you can dodge, his value might drop a little bit, but he's still gonna be good. You know, that's every character. He's not gonna be the best on every single team. So yeah, that's like the only kind of con I can think about for Zhongli. Now moving on to the next banner, we have Ganyu. So starting off with Ganyu's pros, you're gonna have very good damage numbers. She's technically one of the best like single DPSs in the game, so you're definitely gonna be satisfied seeing those like 50k hits, 60k and stuff like that. So if that's what you want to go for, then Ganyu is definitely the right character. And she definitely can carry you. You know, if you don't have like a good DPS already on your team, then Ganyu is one of the best on the game. Her teams are a little bit restricted, but for her herself as a main DPS, she's very good. Second pro about Ganyu is that she's free to play friendly. A lot of her good bows are 4 stars and free 4 stars, like the Hamayumi and the Prototype Crescent. So yeah, she's very like usable for free to plays. Also, if you're playing her in like a freeze team, you don't have to build crit and stuff like that. So if you're free to play, you're not gonna face any problems building Ganyu. You're gonna have a decent Ganyu without that much investment. Now moving on to the cons about Ganyu. The first con is her playstyle. This is very subjective, it's just purely my opinion, but I see a lot of people share the same opinion, so I'm just gonna say it. Ganyu's playstyle is kind of boring, you can say. You're just gonna be charge attacking and that's it. It's also a bit hard if you're playing on mobile and stuff like that. You'd want to aim and shoot with mobile, which can get hard sometimes. So her playstyle in general is not the best. Again, it differs from someone to someone, but in my opinion, her playstyle is not good. It's boring / kind of hard. Second con about Ganyu is her limited teams. To be honest, that wasn't really a problem for Ganyu before, but with the years when the game progressed, I would say it's a bit of a problem right now. Not really a problem, but you can see it. There are not really that many characters who came out after Ganyu that like perfectly synergize with her, so her value has been kind of slowly dropping since she was released. She's definitely not bad, she's still one of the best, but you can see that Hoyoverse are not trying to like buff her anymore. So she's getting slowly power crept. I'm not saying she is power crept, but I'm saying she's slowly losing a little bit of value. Slowly, very slowly, but she is. For example, we've seen Ayaka come out. She's like a direct competitor for Ganyu. She became like the best option in a lot of teams. For example, Dendro came out right now and it doesn't have any reactions with Cryo. So the other elements kind of like got buffed, but Cryo did not. It's just little things like that you can see Ganyu is kind of like purposely getting, left on the side. She's definitely still very good, like very, very good, better than a lot of other characters, but you can see that. And the main thing is her teams, they're very like limited right now. You can play her in a melt team or a freeze team. And even the options on the characters on those teams are kind of like limited. So yeah, her teams are kind of restricted. Now moving on to Kokomi. So for her pros, she's a very good Hydro enabler. One of the best on the game right now. If you need a Hydro enabler, she's there. Second thing, she's a great healer. One of the best, I think might be the best healer right now in the game. So yeah, if you need a healer, Kokomi is the one. Also a great sub DPS. She does very decent damage. So she can fill in a lot of roles at once. You know, she can be a Hydro enabler, healer, and also sub DPS. And finally, she's free to play friendly. You can build Kokomi with not like that much investment investment at all. It's pretty easy to get her stats. She doesn't really need crit or anything like that. So yeah, definitely Kokomi is one of the easiest characters to build. Slap in some energy recharge, HP, and you're good. She also recently right now got like a buff with the Hydra Resonance, which is pretty good. So that's like the mix for Kokomi, you know. She can do a lot of things. She's also very free-to-play friendly. In my opinion, these are the main reasons you should wish for Kokomi. Now moving on to the cons about Kokomi, I would say she only has one con really, but it's kind of a big con. She can be very replaceable. Yes, she can be a Hydra enabler, healer, sub DPS at the same time, but usually you're not going to need all of these roles on the same character. For example, you're usually just going to have Bennett as like a team buffer and healer, and you're going to have, for example, like Xingqiu as a sub DPS and Hydra enabler. So on that team, Kokomi wouldn't have any need. She can be replaced by a lot of 4 stars. For example, as a pure like sub DPS, you just need a flex for the team. You can use Fischl. For example, as a Hydra enabler, you can use Xingqiu, Mona, Yellen, a lot of other characters. As a healer, you can use Bennett, Jean, and a lot of other characters too. But like for individual roles, you usually can replace Kokomi. There are not really that many teams who like require Kokomi herself. I would think that's about her only con, to be honest. Alright, so now finally to the final conclusion, which one should you get? So I'm gonna split them into 2 categories. Supports and main DPSs. So obviously Ganyu and Tighnari are the main DPSs and Zhongli and Kokomi are the supports. If you need a main DPS, you don't have any character who can carry you. You don't have any like main DPS 5-star, a strong character who can carry you throughout the game. In that case, you're probably gonna need one. So you'd want to go more towards like a main DPS. And which one should you choose between Ganyu and Tighnari? I would say Ganyu is probably the safer choice. Ganyu is a good character right now and she will probably still be, even if she gets outdated, even if she gets like power creeps a little bit, she will probably never be bad. She will always still be one of the most viable DPSs in the game. So if you don't have a DPS and you need something that can carry you, I would say Ganyu is probably the better option. Tighnari can do decent damage too, but generally the safer option and the better option is probably Ganyu. Now if you need support, I would say this is a no-brainer. You should definitely go for Zhongli. Kokomi is a great support too, but compared to Zhongli, as I said before, if you don't have him, you're gonna have the game on hard mode. If you have Zhongli, it's gonna be much easier, simply just because of the shield. So if you already have a main DPS, whether it's Ganyu or Tighnari or someone else, and you need the support, Zhongli is probably the better option. Now if you don't have a DPS and you don't have a support, which one should you go for? I would say Zhongli might be good too, because for a main DPS, there are many like even 4-star character who can be a decent main DPS, but for support, I would say there's no character who can match the value of Zhongli. I'm not saying he's the best support, but he's one of the best. There's very few characters who can replace Zhongli's shield. You have Diona, whatever, but they're nowhere near as strong as Zhongli's shield. So I would say if you don't have any of those, go for Zhongli. And if you really don't have any characters who can deal damage, like absolutely nothing, and you're struggling in the abyss and stuff like that, you know, you don't have any good characters, any good DPSs, in that case you can go Ganyu to use her as a main DPS. And again, I repeat, if you like any of them, then you shouldn't probably care about what I'm saying right now. Just go for them, enjoy them, and that's it. So yeah, I hope I helped you guys choose a little bit. If that video helps you, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and see y'all in the next video. Peace.